All right, guys, Jeff here. Just going to do the simplest thing in the world. These days, they have simplified a lot of plumbing. This is no exception. So this is basically a little adapter that goes on your half-inch copper stub out. And I've already gone ahead and trimmed that. They recommend no more than 3.5 inches here. But this is just kind of game changer. It's an all brass fitting, as you can see. It has both an external O-ring, and then if you look down in there, let's see if you can see that. Yeah, internal O-ring. And this simply slides over this. Now you could still sweat this on if you wanted to. You just would have to take out those. You'd have to take out those O-rings so you don't melt them when you do that. This one right here in particular. But anyway, as you slide that on, give yourself a little bit of a room here, because this you can see is threaded and is going to thread onto that. But between the O-ring on the inside, so that's now hugging the pipe, and this O-ring which will go in here, and now you've got a perfect seal. So the only installation part of this, and it comes with its own little hex key if you don't have a set on the truck. But yeah, you simply just tighten that set screw and a couple of turns all the way around if you can see it. It's my problem without my glasses, but anyway, tighten that up, go a long ways, and then a couple of times just with this to make sure you get that on there nice and snug. But it's just not going to go anywhere. So with the two O-rings in there, and again, you know, mainly you're just keeping the spout, the tub spout on, and all of the, we'll get to the diverter or the blending valve here in just a second. But anyway, that's the start of it, and then just make sure you get it lined up, and away you go. So you'll thread for a little bit, but that's going to give you a nice tight seal on the back, just like that. And tub spout done. So anyway, pretty cool, huh? So if you're looking at changing out your tub spout, you can probably do it a lot of different ways, but this is one of them. Then a lot of the newer kits, this is a Delta kit. A lot of the newer kits come like this, so you can do it fairly easy and almost with no tools except the one that they send you. So check it out. Okay, so this is just a real quick, simple Delta cartridge. We already did the rough-in, as you can see, and that's the typical one that Delta uses anymore. And the only thing you have to pay attention to is that there's the little, and it's embossed. I kind of wish they would color code that or make it a little more obvious, but H is on the left, and that's kind of the way that most houses are set up. So you literally just kind of put it in there and push it in. Now, with the Delta, they also give you an indicator here to let you know that you're in the right spot. So there's little carrots or grooves, if you will, groove with a little intrusion there. That will help you get that seated in the right way. And then this collar does all of the work. So this collar is what's going to hold that cartridge in place, and you can go hand tight until you need a couple of little twists with pipe wrench just to make sure. And one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and back it out just so you can see, because probably when you saw that installation, you saw that those grooves weren't quite seated. But now look, once you use this, it's going to help cinch that into place, and now you have that collar in there. So it doesn't take a whole lot. You basically just want it tight, and you know that's hand tight there. You can just put a wrench on it real quick just to make sure. You don't want to over tighten these or mar up your pieces really. Last time I had this, it's cold and wet, so it's a little rusty. Yeah, a little rusty. But that's it. I mean, you can't really go any tighter than that. So that's your cartridge installed, and installing the little trim piece over top of it, the Delta, and that's why you gotta have to make sure they've got their offset screws, and you can probably see those back in here and there, but that helps you get this on right. And you can see again, you know, let's call them the king of subtlety, because there's a little tiny, I'm going to pull that out just so you can see it, but just the tiniest little C and the tiniest little H that you can see in there, and that's pretty much all you get for reference. But the main thing is you get your little screws lined up there. Okay, so now that we got that tightened up, this little O-ring here just slips over top of all of this. And really what that does is it provides for the little decorative pieces that start to clean this whole installation up. That provides a little bit of friction, as you can see. Push that over and it'll kind of slide it in place. But it just provides a little bit of friction on that, and a little watertight seal, airtight seal as well, however you want to say it, and allows that to go that way. Now, to get the, you want to get the escutcheon or the trim piece on first, and again, C on the right, H on the left, and then there's actually an off and a delta down here. And this has a little foam gasket that goes around, and also one on the inside. So that's going to help seal this up from an air standpoint. Wouldn't necessarily be entirely waterproof. It will keep water from sliding down the backside, as you can see, and getting back there, but it also is an air plug as well. So anyway, and if you get lucky, you can line these up. You know, it's just a matter of getting them just right. There are long screws, and you know, once you get it seated, it'll want to go for you. And then it does help to get kind of oriented the way that you need to be first. Okay, no more messing around with it now, right? There we go. So that'll go in there. And you know, sometimes these threads are really fine threads, and through the course of construction, depending on what point you mount your rough in, you know, you might get all kinds of dust or drywall mud or all kinds of things in there. So it's helpful to maybe brush them out, blow them out before you get too far. So we'll see how it goes here. Okay, so now that we got that installed, one thing to notice before you put the handle on is that this actually allows you to, if you pull this out, you can actually change the stops of where the hot water stops. So it's set, comes factory set to the absolute minimum. So a lot of times when you're running your showers, if your water is really, really cold, you may not be getting enough hot water in there to actually get a comfortable shower. So if you pull this out, you can see you can turn that left or right. Now I've already set this where I want it, but the further you turn it to the right, the hotter it gets. The risk is, of course, that you can just go pure hot water, which could scald somebody. So you want to make sure that you test this, you know what your local codes and regulations are, but this is where you adjust that. It isn't necessarily that you have a problem with your hot water, your heater, you know, your water heater. It could be that your valve isn't open enough to the hot to get that in. So that's how you do that before you put this handle on. And the further you go that, so see how mine stops really at that, it's going to come almost set to about 90. So it gives you a 90 degree. Mine goes almost 180 degrees, as you can see. Not quite that, but anyway, it goes far enough that I know I can adjust that later. So anyway, and then to, of course, set this on, it's just a set screw down here at the bottom. They do send you the Allen wrench that you need to do that. So, but that's it. That's the tub and the handle diverter. I'm sorry, not diverter, but your blend valve, and then your tub spout installation. So super clean, super easy. Well, you're installing your shower spout. Obviously, course of Teflon tape or plumber's tape works out great here. I always do about 3 to 4 wraps. You can do whatever you want. In this case, the blue tape, I normally like to use white inside, but I know how deep that this is going up in that hole, so I know that all that blue is going to be hidden, plus the escutcheon goes around it. But anyway, that's just something to look at. This part does get taped, as you know, and yeah, you just simply start that. does help to have a wrench on this. You're not going to be able to get it tight enough, hand tight, although you probably could, you know, grabbing a hold of this. It just is better, more consistent to get that done. And let's look and see. Sometimes these have such a sharp bend on them that getting the little escutcheon piece around them is hard. So let's just make sure that we can get this wall flange over there without, because if you get too far you don't want to have to take it out. Let's see if we can get that around that bend here. And yeah, we may need to hang on just 1 second. Oh no, looks like we got it. So it's gonna go. So we'll get that tightened up, and then if you wanted to, you could always put a little piece of or a bead of silicone or caulk back there to kind of hold that in place. But most of the time you're in good shape just by doing that.